Well, hello and a magnificent good morning to everyone in year 3 at Bronte School. Hello, my name is Alistair Humphreys. I am a author of books like The Boy Who Biked the World, The Girl Who Rode the Ocean, picture books like Against the Odds, and look, maybe I should show you this as well, because this is what a book looks like before it becomes this. So I'm writing a book at the moment. Don't tell anyone. It's top secret. It's called Canoe Adventure, and it's kind of a sequel of The Boy Who Biked the World and The Girl Who Rode the Ocean. And Tom and Lucy, brother and sister, are going to pair up and go off on adventures. So look, maybe this is interesting. This is how I write books. I write them on a computer, just like you're doing your homework, and I try and make them good, and then I print them out. And then I look for mistakes and I correct them with red pen, maybe like your teachers do at school, and go back and write it again and keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it for about a year. Look how much red pen I've put on that. I thought it was good, and actually it's rubbish. Got a lot of work still to do. And I keep going and keep going for about a year. And then a new book comes out, and then hopefully somebody reads it. And even more hopefully, someone enjoys it. And even more hopefully, someone says something nice about it. Which leads me onto my questions that I've received from you guys, and particularly the first one from a superb human being called Tasbi, who says, "I like your book." Yes, thank you. And you know what, Tasbi? That shows that my year sitting in my shed, drinking coffee out of quite dirty cups, talking to nobody, that feels worthwhile when someone says they like my book. So thank you very much. Right, you guys have asked me lots of questions. Boom, I'm going to answer them. Are you ready? Oh, yeah, here we go. Right, question 1 from the incredibly wonderful Tasbi. Are there any places you have not been to? And is it scary going on adventures? I think you sneaked in 2 questions there, but I'll let you off because you said you liked my book. Are there any places you've not been to? Yes. There are so many places I've not been to. I've been to maybe 90 countries, but that means there's more than 100 that I haven't been to. I haven't even seen half the world. There's so much out there to explore. But it's even more than that, because think about the town that you guys live in. Within your town, there will be streets you have never been to. There will be parks you have not visited. There will be trees you have not climbed. There is so much exploring to do. You don't need to go all the way around the world to find adventures. Is it scary going on adventures? I guess it's exciting. Occasionally things are scary. You don't want things to be too scary, because that usually means you've made a mistake or you've lost control. So you want things to be exciting, and you want it to be uncertain. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen in the next place, but that's okay. And that's exciting. And I'm choosing to try and do new and different things. So it's a bit scary like that. But if things get really scary, you've probably done something wrong, and we don't want that. Dexter says, how many miles did you travel? Well, when I cycled around the world, that was 46,000 miles of cycling in 4 years. And when I rowed across the Atlantic Ocean, that was 3,000 miles of rowing in 45 days and nights. Idera said, when did you start going on adventures? I started going on adventures when I was probably in about year 3. Year 3. Yeah, about year 3. When I was about 9, I did some hill climbing challenges. So maybe you guys can look and find some hike you could do near to your home. You could go do it with your parents, go and test yourself on the Wheeled Way or the Saxon Way and do some adventures like that. I started climbing hills, riding my bike, going camping, and things like joining the Cubs or the Scouts is brilliant for helping you start to have adventures. Elijah says, where are you going to have an adventure next? Well, Elijah, my adventures have actually gone from being all around the world to becoming really quite local and small. In fact, the new book I've written is actually called Local. And this is about spending a whole year exploring just the one map that I live on. So the whole country, I'm getting tired all this standing up. By the way, do you like my shed? This is where I write my books. I love reading books. Reading books is the best way to get you learning about adventures in the world. So I've got lots of books to read. I've got a globe. I've got a cushion with a picture of myself on it and a message in Arabic. And oh yeah, sorry, I forgot what I was talking about. Oh yes, the book that I'm writing at the moment is about exploring my local area for 1 year. Now, the whole of the country is divided up into these maps. And if you ask your teacher at your school, you will have some maps like this of your local area. And they don't cover a very big area, only about 12 miles across. But if you start to look on there are so many footpaths and woods and new places that you've never been to. So my adventures these days, Elijah, are about exploring close to home and encouraging other people to get the map of where they live and explore new places too. Noah says, what was your longest journey? I know my longest journey was going the whole way around the world. You can't really go any longer than that unless you go into space. I'd love to go into space. I applied to be an astronaut once, but I failed. I wasn't clever enough. Callie says, how many places have you been to? I've been to about 90 countries. I haven't been to Antarctica, but I've been to all the other continents. Nihaal, how long would it take to travel around the world? Well, how do you want to travel around the world, Nihaal? For me, it took 4 years on my bike. A friend of mine, he's called Mark Beaumont. If you Google him, he cycled around the world in 80 days, which is ridiculously quick. And then there's another guy that I know called Tom Turkic. He's American, and he walked around the world for 7 years with his dog. If you Google him, look him up. He has beautiful photographs on Instagram called The World Walk, and it's him and his dog Savannah walking around the world for 7 years. Or you could get in an aeroplane and fly around the world in about 24 hours and see nothing and cause a lot of climate change. So the choice is yours. How do you want to have your adventures? Jade says, have you been to Nigeria? No, Jade, I've not been to Nigeria, sadly. I have been down the whole east side of Africa. On the west side of Africa, I've only been to Sierra Leone. So no, I have not been to Nigeria. But I do make a good jollof rice. I love jollof rice. Although I have a Nigerian friend and he says that my jollof rice must be terrible. But he needs to invite me around to his house to make some decent jollof rice. Riley asks about countries. I've done that. Preston asks, do I like traveling? Oh, Preston, gosh, do I like traveling? I love traveling. My favorite thing is going to places that I've never been before. I just love arriving in new towns, new countries, new mountains, and just thinking, wow, I've never been here. I don't know what's here. I love that so much. James says, have I been to Paris? Ah, bonjour, James. Oui, oui, I have been to Paris. Yes, I have. And the wonderful thing about going to the Paris is you can go on the train, which is brilliant. You can take the train from England to Paris. I really recommend that. It's brilliant. Or you can go on the ferry. Also good fun. Yeah, I like Paris. It's cool. Kayla says, how many adventures you've been on? It's hard to really count because I did big adventures like cycling around the world, walking across India, walking across Iceland, walking across the empty quarter desert, walking across Spain, playing my violin very badly. By the way, if you look on YouTube for My Midsummer Morning and Into the Empty Quarter, you'll see two of my big adventures in films on YouTube. So I've done quite a lot of big ones, but I've also done loads of really small adventures. I call them micro adventures, like sleeping on a hill for the night, or going for a bike ride for a weekend, or finding a river or lake near to where you live where you can swim. And I did a whole book called Micro Adventures with lots of pretty pictures of lots of different places. So I've been on, I can't really count how many adventures I've been on. I'm not a very good singer, am I? Keira says, have I seen every single animal? No way. I've hardly seen any animals. There are millions of kinds of animals in the world. And sadly, thousands of them, literally thousands of them, are going extinct all the time because of us just chopping down endless amounts of forests to plant soy plantations to feed animals. It's so sad and crazy. So I haven't seen every single animal. What haven't I seen that I would love to? I would love to see a tiger in the wild and a gorilla in the wild. I haven't seen either of those. James says, are there any countries you haven't been to? There's so many countries you haven't been to. We've already talked about Nigeria. Haven't been to Nepal. Also begins with N. Or New Zealand. Or Niger. I have been to Nicaragua and Norway. And the Netherlands. Can't think of any more countries beginning with N. Here we go. Is The Boy Who Bite the World about me in real life? Says Shaya. Yeah, it is. So I spent 4 years cycling around the world, and then I wrote up my story in a book for children. And instead of making the person in the book a boring old man like me with quite a grey beard, it has to be said. Who wants to read a book about someone boring like that? So instead, I turned me into a younger person so that hopefully when you read it, it feels a bit more connection to you, and that maybe you think, hey, I'd like to do some adventures too. So it is my story, but told through the eyes of a younger, cooler person. Right, we've got a few repeats here, quite a few repeats. Preet says, what do you pack? Well, Preet, that depends. If I'm going to cross a big desert, then the main thing I'd pack is a lot of water and some sun cream and a sun hat. If I'm going to cross Siberia in the middle of winter when it's freezing, the main thing you need to pack there is fuel for a camping stove so that you can melt snow to get enough water and to pack loads and loads of warm clothes. So you have to pack everything you need for the journey, but more interesting is to not pack the things that you don't need. So it's easy to think of all the things that you might need to take on an adventure, but if you look around your house and start thinking about all the things you don't need for an adventure, then that will show you one of the things I love about going on journeys, which is how simple your life becomes. So many of us, when we become grown-ups, we spend so much time working just to buy stuff that just fills up our houses. And we don't really need most of that. And what I love about adventures is just how simple life becomes, that you can just live with what you can keep in a small rucksack. And I really like that. Sahej said, did you ever get stuck on your trips? Stuck? Well, I get lost a lot. I guess sometimes I get stuck. So I've had problems trying to get visas. If you want to go from one country to another country, if you want to go from one country to another country, you have to show your passport. And sometimes countries don't let you in. So sometimes I've got to a country and said, please, can I come through your country? And they said, no, go away. And then you have to find another way around. So that can be quite difficult when that happens. But generally, it's just down to planning and organizing, and then it's not too difficult. Right, that is all of your questions. There have been some excellent questions. Thank you very much. By the way, I hope you like my shed. Did you see in the corner, just tucked away out of sight, I've got a giant poster of myself. Let me get this out. Can you see? No. No, I'm going to break my whole shed. Oh, no, it's fallen over. Anyway, I've got a big poster of my shed of myself, which is quite embarrassing. So normally when I set up my YouTube like this, I try and hide it. so no one can see it. So look, pretend you can't see that I've got a giant poster of myself. Instead, look, I've got number plate that I found when I was crossing Iceland, a number plate when from the United Arab Emirates when I was walking through the empty quarters desert. What else have I got? Nice map. This is my favourite mountain. It's called Sullivan in Scotland, and look, they've made it into a 3-dimensional map of Sullivan. That's pretty cool. What else have I got that I can show you? When I walked across Spain playing my violin. I'm so bad at the violin. I can't tell you how bad I am, but someone gave me $1. Maybe they gave me $1 to shut up. And so I framed that. Money I made from playing my violin. And that's about it. So thank you very much for all of your questions. It's been lovely to know that someone's out there reading my book. Thank you for your support. And most importantly, good luck with all of your own adventures. Have a good day. Bye-bye.